Conjugating ER and IR verbs. Present tense. Just like we conjugated AR verbs, we're going to be conjugating ER and IR verbs. So the ER endings, just like the AR, have an O on the end, have an ES instead of an AS because it is an ER verb. El, ella, and usted all have E's. The nosotros form has an EMOS. The vosotros has an E with an accent because it is an ER verb, IS. Ellos, ellas, and ustedes all have EN. These are some of the present tense verbs. Aprender, beber, comer, comprender, correr, reír, deber, leer. Felipe y su tío comen. Felipe and your uncle eat. Jimena lee. Jimena reads. Comer. It is an ER verb. You put an O in the yo form, an ES in the to form. Yo como, tú comes. Él come, ella come, usted come. Nosotros comemos, vosotros coméis. Ellos comen, ellas comen, and ustedes comen. Present tense IR verbs. Now let's see what happens with these. It's not what you think is going to happen. Yo still has the O, but tu still has the ES. It conjugates just like the ER verb right here. Then the el, ella, and usted also conjugate with the E ending. But nosotros changes. It's IMOS. The vosotros also changes because it's an IR verb. It would get the accent on the I. And then the ellos, ellas, and ustedes forms are in the EN. ER and IR verbs have the exact same endings except for the nosotros and the vosotros forms. The nosotros and the vosotros are the only two ones that are different for ER and IR conjugations. Comer is going to have the E for EMOS and the E accent, IS for the vosotros. For the escribir, the IR verb would have IMOS and the vosotros would be I with an accent S. These are the only two that change for the ER and IR verbs. That's their only difference. Okay. Abrir, asistir, compartir, decidir, describir, escribir, vivir. So if we were going to conjugate vivir, vivo, tú vives, él vive, ella vive, usted vive. Nosotros vivimos, vosotros vivís, ellos viven, ellas viven, ustedes viven. Ellos corren en el parque. They run in the park. Él escribe una carta. He writes a letter. Here's some tips on learning Spanish verbs. Learn to identify the verb stem to which all endings match. Identify the stem. That means take off the AR, take off the ER, take off the IR. That is your stem. Memorize the endings. Guys, you've got to memorize the endings. There's more than just one tense of this. We're only learning the present tense right now. There are 15 more tenses that at some point in time you're going to learn. As often as possible, practice using different forms of each verb in speech and writing. And then devote extra time to learning irregular verbs. We've already learned ser and estar, and they are irregular. We're going to learn 2 more irregulars in this chapter.